Out west, where big sky meets the mountains, there's a new kind of gold rush going on.
Of course, in 1991 came A River Runs Through It. And ever since then, we've been a favorite destination for filmmakers.
Montana is trying to make the best of tough times by competing with Hollywood.
How did they get on your list before your eyes when you're looking at places you can film?
This week, behind the scenes, as Montana and other states compete in a star search.
And the Biden administration makes some sweeping moves to impact the oil industry in the U.S.
You've got 100,000 jobs in the oil and gas industry. You can look at basically half of those leaving.
This week, a look at the policy and potential impacts on the economy and possibly national security.
They're called the tactical games. This week, we visit one tough course where some at-risk soldiers claim they were saved by running toward the sound of gunfire.
Welcome to Full Measure. I'm Sharyl Attkisson. Fallout from the coronavirus shutdowns just keeps coming. Newly released numbers show film and television production in Los Angeles fell to its lowest point in a quarter century in 2020. More movie productions have quietly relocated from Hollywood to other destinations that are delighted to have the business. In fact, the competition for movie money is growing fierce. Today, we're off to Montana, which is among the states searching for stars.
Nestled in Montana's scenic boondocks is a small western town that isn't what it seems. From the church to the jail, it's a movie set.
For the movie we're doing, it's called Murder at Immigrant Gulch.
Carter Boehm is executive producer in charge of Murder at Immigrant Gulch. He's creator and owner of this western set, Yellowstone Film Ranch, near Livingston, Montana. He rents it out for movie productions for about $10,000 a day.
This movie set was only built because of a novel incentive program put into place by Montana to attract Hollywood dollars. The idea, to make it worthwhile for producers to come here to the middle of nowhere to make their films.
Boehm helped lobby for the incentive program called the Media Act, the Montana Economic Development Industry Advancement Act.
And then the jail is made for being able to break people out.
It offers filmmakers tax credits that basically knock a third off their expenses.
And this is all because of the tax credits that Montana passed, which we helped lobby for. And this now turns Montana into a super movie industry.
This town employed over 25 employees full-time for over a year, and we had about 50 different contractors that we were working with, all Montana residents.
Montana joins a list of states, including Georgia and Louisiana, in a heated competition for Hollywood dollars, seen as a clean industry providing well-paying jobs.
You can pick the church up and put it back.
Boehm says Montana's incentives have saved about $1.5 million of their $5 million movie budget. Without them, he says, he wouldn't have filmed here or put dozens of people to work building the town movie set. Even before the tax credits, Montana was a movie destination. Allison Whitmer is Montana's film commissioner.
Started with Thomas Edison, came here in 1897, filming tourists in Yellowstone National Park. And then with the advent of cowboy movies in the 1910s and 20s, I've had several pieces of those. And then we had a resurgence in filmmaking in the 1970s.
Adios, amigo. Evil Knievel, the king of the stuntmen.
And of course, in 1991 came A River Runs Through It. And ever since then, we've been a favorite destination for filmmakers.
There was The Horse Whisperer in 1998. Most of the 2019 film Robert the Bruce, set in Scotland, was filmed in Montana.
Who is he? It's Robert the Bruce.
And the TV show Yellowstone is now made in Montana.
Ranching is the only business where the goal is to break even. Survive another season.
Yellowstone is a very well-received Paramount television series. They've been filming both in Montana and primarily in Utah, and this year they moved their entire production from Utah to Montana.
It's Whitmer's job to guide the stepped-up effort to attract more, bigger budget films under Montana's media law.
There are counties in Montana where their entire operating budget for a year is less than $1 million. And we have some Montana counties where their population is less than 1,000 people. So bringing those dollars into the community really makes a difference.
One analysis found that during 18 months, from January 2019 to June 2020, including the COVID-19 shutdown, 117 productions were filmed in Montana. They spent $23.9 million in 31 of Montana's 56 counties, supported 280 jobs, and contributed $1.3 million in local tax revenue. But it's not easy to show financial success with a new incentive program. Of all those productions, only 5 of them were ones that participated in the Media Act tax credit. On top of that, the state spends taxpayer money to give the tax incentives.
What didn't you like about the idea?
That it was a tax credit, period.
Alan Redfield, head of the state's House Taxation Committee, when the media law passed. He says it may help some Montana communities, but it leaves others out in the cold.
So you don't doubt that there may be some benefit to some people?
There could be a great benefit to some people. But the overall, I don't believe the state overall will benefit.
Because?
Because how many people are going to eastern Montana? How many, are you going to help those people out there? And, you know, where's the scenery that they really want to film? And, you know, some of the cities.
And Montana has such amazing beauty.
Whitmer insists Montana risks getting crossed off the list on the front end if it doesn't match what other states are offering.
So Georgia and California, of course, right now are the big leaders in filmmaking, with Louisiana and New York right up there. And Montana has such amazing beauty and wonderful vistas and places to film that the filmmakers who introduced the legislation really wanted to be competitive. And so we feel that this tax incentive is competitive with the other states. We feel like we're in the top tier of competition.
So this is one of our bar scenes.
Her idea that Montana will lose opportunities without the tax credit is supported by Kim Barnard, line producer of a film starring Demi Moore, Please Baby Please, filming here at the historic Hotel Finland in Butte, Montana.
Did the tax incentive program play any role in getting Montana considered, or was it other stuff?
100%, yes.
How did they get on your list before your eyes when you're looking at places you can film?
We look for the tax incentive. Who has the best tax? Which state has the best tax incentive, and which state can offer us what we need? Because on a low budget indie, all of that is super important.
All right.
Even with the bad luck of coronavirus shutting down production for months, it turns out there are even more limitations in Hollywood.
That's pretty much what all these racks are, people's characters' closets.
Costume designer Ashley Heathcook likes working in a rural setting.
Do you notice any benefit of working here, especially during coronavirus?
Yes, I do think that like less populated areas is probably safer for everyone. Anywhere where there's low numbers and not a big population.
While critics of the tax credits say plenty of films would come to Montana without the incentives,
And you want to have a fight scene?
Aim and his Western film studio are banking on the idea that more movies and Hollywood money are on the way.
I hope to say, build it and they will come, and thank goodness they are coming.
The nonprofit group Film LA says feature film production there in 2020 fell by nearly 56% compared to the year before. Ahead on Full Measure, President Biden's new energy policy and how people in oil-producing states are being impacted. On his first day in office, President Biden launched what some see as an attack on fossil fuel through a major shift in energy policy. He canceled the Keystone XL pipeline that would carry more Canadian oil to refineries deeper in the U.S., and days later, stopped new oil and gas leases on federal land. As the opening salvo in a refocus on climate change, Scott Thuman reports it comes at a cost to an industry that's created jobs and energy independence.
In the southwest United States, the winds of change are blowing in fast. This area, called the Permian Basin, so abundant with oil and natural gas, it's a big part of the reason America was able to declare itself energy independent just a few years ago. But it now faces a stop sign of sorts after President Biden on day one signaled a big shift in energy policy, blocking completion of the Keystone pipeline that would carry oil from Canada to the Gulf Coast, then halting new oil and gas leases on federal lands.
So how tied are these people to the oil industry?
100% tied to it. I can guarantee it.
Pro-oil and often outspoken former Republican Congressman Steve Pierce says his town of Hobbs, New Mexico is in shock.
I would guess the economic impact is in the $20 billion range for oil and gas total across the state.
Since a third of the land here is federally owned, a freeze on new leases could mean companies move out.
You've got 100,000 jobs in the oil and gas industry. You can look at basically half of those leaving. Each one of those jobs is somewhere between $50,000 and $120,000. Those jobs leave, there's nothing to replace those $100,000 jobs.
President Biden says it's long past time for America to move forcefully toward renewable energy.
We see it with our own eyes, we feel it, we know it in our bones, and it's time to act.
But change comes at a fragile time for the economy. The fossil fuel industry supports more than 12 million jobs, supplies 80% of America's energy, and about 8% of our GDP. White House Deputy National Climate Advisor Ali Zaidi insists renewables will provide new jobs.
So we're really seeing the market get excited about the opportunity that clean energy represents. We're seeing private capital come in and create jobs all across the supply chain, not just the folks who are installing the turbines, but folks who are manufacturing those turbines, people all across the supply chain. So, you know, for us, this is really about seizing the opportunity that that's right in front of us, the jobs opportunity that tackling the climate crisis represents.
Others aren't convinced. Alan Davis is the county manager in Carlsbad, New Mexico. Revenues from oil and gas in his county and the one next door provide more than 1/3 of the state budget.
So to me, what that action says is that Southeast New Mexico isn't a friendly place for oil and gas investment. It will drive that investment out of the state to other places.
You've interpreted the message from Washington that Washington either doesn't understand or doesn't care enough about what takes place here, the impact here.
It's a little bit flippant, but my impression is the folks that are uninformed or ill-informed think power comes out of the plug in the wall, milk comes out of the jug in the fridge, and petrol comes out of the spigot at the petrol station. And that's just not reality, right? The energy to move industry, to move private citizens is enormous in terms of its breadth and infrastructure. And the infrastructure that's being talked about for these other programs doesn't exist yet.
Here in Texas, it's a different situation. These wells are built on private and state land, not federal, so they're not immediately affected by a ban on new leases. Yet they are still worried.
Oil prices have gotten, firmed up.
David Blackman is a longtime oil analyst and managing editor of Shale magazine. We met in Midland, the epicenter of the West Texas oil industry.
I think they probably are currently underestimating what this administration really plans to do in terms of trying to inhibit the oil and gas business here in the United States.
Because even rigs on state and private land still need permits to produce, and a new administration could slow those down.
They can grind to a halt.
They can grind to a halt. which I believe this administration will probably do. So if you're a big producer on federal lands, that obviously could very substantially impact your business.
Throttling down U.S. production of oil and gas stands to affect the price of everything dependent on trucks and planes that use fossil fuel, from airline tickets to groceries trucked to stores. It could also mean America needs to buy more oil from other nations, often in unstable regions.
Now, the risk to me is being reliant on countries and parts of the world that are relatively unstable, right? The more dependent we become on those parts of the world where those kinds of things happen, then it becomes more of an imperative for our country to get involved militarily in those kinds of conflicts.
Well, some people would say you solve the problem by eventually moving a lot of this industry into a green energy source.
Sure.
Solar and wind. Why can't people just cross the street, so to speak?
Well, I mean, you can, okay? You can, but it takes time. And right now, fossil fuels provide about 80% of the electricity, for example, in this country, between natural gas and coal and fuel oil. You have to have a scalable alternative to that before you just shut it down.
Until then, uncertainty is driving the day here, with wonders of what the next day brings. For Full Measure, I'm Scott Thuman in Midland, Texas.
President Biden has promised to help laid-off fossil fuel workers by promoting what he calls clean energy jobs. But those jobs are part of a $2 trillion plan that may never clear Congress. Coming up on Full Measure, a tactical game that's helping save the lives of some veterans. It's a difficult number to process. Every day, 20 U.S. military veterans commit suicide. We've reported on the role traumatic brain injury and post-traumatic stress disorder may play. Lisa Fletcher reports on an interesting place where some at-risk soldiers claim they saved their own lives by running toward the sound of gunfire.
You might say salvation sometimes comes by surprise. On this hot early summer day,
going in 5 seconds.
It was on the site of a former secret nuclear facility in South Carolina.
Go.
Where a hugely varied collection of former warriors, SEALs, special forces, law enforcement, and just generally tough people came together to compete.
We train, test, and highlight.
Tim Burke is a former member of the U.S. Special Forces, a Green Beret. He runs these competitions called the Tactical Games at different locations across the country.
The idea that we put into the games is anybody can stand on the range and shoot accurately at rest. But if we get your heart rate and your respiration rates up where you're like, and now we ask you to do a fine motor skill, that's where talent, that's where skill sets get built.
My very first games, I was overwhelmed and intimidated and feeling very out of my league.
Amy Way is a former flight nurse with the Air National Guard and now a civilian nurse. She did intensive physical training and some recreational shooting and then upped her game.
So tell me what it's like being a woman as a part of this competition, because it is like 95% men.
It's funny, you can spot these guys from a mile away, and then, most of us girls, you'd never know if you just saw us out and about. I mean, it's great. Nobody cuts us any slack. They're all super supportive and helpful.
Why are you here at this competition?
It's a challenge. It gives me something to work for every day. Gives me another reason to stay in shape.
Come on, guys, come on, right there, come on.
James Gill has a different reason to compete, and it's largely against himself. He was a Marine in Iraq in 2006. When his team went in to clear a building, they walked into a booby trap. He lost a leg and an eye and had many other serious wounds.
And you work very hard to take up the gap physically, but what does a competition like this do for you mentally?
One, it gives me a mission, something to focus on, and it makes me feel good about my accomplishments. I try and stay as busy as possible to distract my brain from whatever negative thoughts I might have about the world around me, but for my mental health. I have to have a purpose.
I think a lot of those guys are just struggling with that transition. Unintended consequences. When I started this, I started a sporting event. I thought it really quickly became a community, and ultimately it became a net to catch guys that were struggling with that transition. Case in point, I've had at least 8 men from my background, SOF, Special Forces, SEALs, Marines, Special Operations, come up to me, literally put their hand on my shoulder. They'd say, dude, the tactical games saved my life. And I'd go, awesome. And he goes, no, you don't understand. It saved my life. I was sitting there with a pistol in my lap, and somebody commented on Facebook, dude, I went to the tactical games, it was awesome. And I saw it, and I thought I'd try one more thing. And it's like, whew, how do you process that? You know what I mean? I came out to do something fun, and now I got these guys that are just like, it really made a difference.
There are certain things that I know I struggle with, so I'm working on those physically. I have some limitations, but I make up for it with other skills, with shooting and other things. I was 21 years old when I was injured, 35 now, like, not ready to hang it up.
The Navy SEALs have a phrase: the only easy day was yesterday. Nothing appeared easy this day, but for those who are struggling with their post-combat lives, it's not always about today. It's about making it to tomorrow. For Full Measure, I'm Lisa Fletcher.
And we'll be back with a look at what's ahead next week on Full Measure. Coming up next week on Full Measure. Few industries have been hit harder by the COVID shutdowns than the music business.
It looked like a scene from an apocalypse movie or something, you know? So when you talk about something like COVID, our whole industry revolves around crowds. And you can't have crowds when you got COVID going on.
We're off to Music City, Nashville, Tennessee to investigate the fight to keep the music alive next week on Full Measure. The news as we knew it no longer exists. Check out my bestseller, Slanted, How the News Media Taught Us to Love Censorship and Hate Journalism, to find out what's really behind the changes and what you can do about it. Until then, we'll be watching for more stories that hold powers accountable. Thanks for watching.